Hello everyone, how's it going? It is Shadowswarm. I have the new free week champion rotation for League of Legends. Let's jump right into things. We have Azir, Dr.Mundo, Fiddlesticks, Gragas, Janna, Rise, Thresh, Urgot, Varus, and Vel'Koz. Starting off with Azir. As usual, I'm going to tell you the roles they generally fill and the lanes you can expect them to be in, as well as the items you can expect them to have. First, we got Azir. You'll be seeing him build primarily AP in the mid lane, getting stuff such as a Morello Namicon, a Luden's Echo, maybe most likely Luden's Echo, Rabadon's Deathcap, Void Staff, and Azania's Hourglass, and maybe a Athene's Unholy Grail for the cooldown reduction, because cooldown reduction turns into attack speed for Azir, so you don't need to buy attack speed items such as Nashar's Tooth. So that's pretty much it. You can expect him to be in the mid lane and be built as AP. Next we've got Dr.Mundo, who you can expect to be either top or in the jungle. And he's your general beefy, I'm just going to be an annoyance to everyone type of person. He'll be built with a lot of health, magic resist, and armor. Not really much else, like Warmog's, a Sunfire Cape. What else? Randuin's Omen. Maybe get a Landry's Torment. Maybe because of how Mundo works. That's the only reason I could explain it for. What else? Spirit Visage, Spirit Visage, maybe Banshee's Veil, etc., for some magic resist. Spirit Visage also helps with his passive as well as his ultimate, so, yeah, there's that. And you can expect to see him in the top lane or jungle. Next we have Fiddlesticks, who you can expect to see mid lane, bottom lane, or jungle. Either way, he'll be built primarily AP. If he's at bottom, he'll be played as support. Mid or jungle, obviously just straight up AP. And regardless of if he's bottom as support, you're still building him AP with a Zani's Hourglass, Rabadon's Deathcap, Abyssal Scepter, Void Staff, and that's pretty much it. I'm not too keen on the whole Luden's Echo on Fiddlesticks. It is a good item. I'm just not keen on it with him because of, his damage primarily comes from AoE, and Luden's Echo on an AoE item or AoE focused champion is not really something I condone, but if you want to, still go for it. A Crystal Scepter is still pretty good anyway. And also a Landry's Torment. Moving on, we've got Gragas, who you can expect to see either the top lane or the mid lane, and he would be built with a focus on AP. So, Zanya's, Rabadon's Deathcap, Abyssal Scepter, maybe a Rod of Ages for both him and Fiddlesticks, and Azir. Pretty much Rod of Ages for any AP champions. That's a given. Same thing with Rabadon's Deathcap. It's just a given, okay? Don't ask why, it just is. What else? A Lichbane or Iceborne Gauntlets for Gragas. Those are pretty good for him because he is a melee AP champion. He will be auto-attacking fairly often in between his, Q and his R. His W and E focus primarily on him hitting people. So, yeah. Like I said though, mid lane or top with a focus on AP with some survivability in health. That's pretty much it. Next we have Janna, who you'll be seeing played as support in the bottom lane most of the time. A Tear of the Goddess, turn that into an Archangel Staff, does not go amiss on her. What else? Chalice of Harmony, turn that into an Athene's Unholy Grail. And you're pretty much golden from there. Maybe branch out and get a Rabadon's Deathcap, but or Zanya's. Either one I would recommend on her. Zanya's for the survivability, and Rabadon's for the increased healing from your ultimate, increased everything else. Your damage from your Q, the damage from your W, and the shield on your E. So, yeah. What else? And obviously your warding items and your general support items. Yeah, that's pretty much it. She'll be used support mainly in the bottom lane. Next we have Ryze, who has gone through a few changes, but the one thing that has stayed consistent about Ryze is he's primarily mana focused. Mana with some AP in there, so Rod of Ages, Archangel Staff, Frozen Heart, all of those are essential and key items on Ryze, because all of his abilities, except for his ultimate, I believe, generate more damage with his maximum percentage of mana, like a percentage of his maximum mana, as well as AP. So you want that mix, but not like balls out AP. More, good mixture of AP and mana. That's why I say the Archangel Staff, the Rod of Ages, and Frozen Heart, because all of them add mana, and the Archangel Staff is pretty much double dipping on the Rod of Ages as well as the Frozen Heart, giving him more AP as well, because that's based upon maximum mana as well. Other than that, maybe a Zanya's or Rabadon's Death Cap to round it all up, and that's pretty much it. That's your Ryze in a nutshell, and you can expect to see him played in the mid lane. Next we have Thresh, who, those of you who've seen me play Thresh know I play him as support. I've seen people try him as the AD. I focus more on the support Thresh, and with that I focus on survivability with some AP in there, so, Runic Bulwark, turn that into Lock of Divine Solari, get some sort of additional AP, and Athene's Unholy Grail does help immensely, because Thresh does not gain magic resist with his souls, he only gains armor. So that Athene's Unholy Grail does come in handy a lot. Pretty much after I get a certain amount of core items, I go for health and tankiness. So I'll get like a Sunfire Cape, but that's after I've already gotten, Lock of Divine Solari, Athene's Unholy Grail, my Ruby Sight Stone, and whatever other support items I feel I need. So yeah. Pretty much survivability as support. That's your role as Thresh, in my opinion. Other people may have other opinions, but that's personally mine. And again, expect to see him bottom lane as support. Next we have Urgot, who you'll be seeing primarily in the bottom lane as the ADC. Items you can expect to see on him would be a Manamune. What else? Frozen Heart, Iceborne Gauntlet, maybe Static Shiv on that one. But if you don't get Iceborne Gauntlets, then Trinity Force is a definite must. And that's pretty much it. Urgot's like the only ADC who can actually be the tank, because his shield gives him, it absorbs a set amount of damage, which is increased a little bit by AP, but greatly increased by maximum mana. So that's why the Manamune and Frozen Heart come into play, because the shield is very, very vital. And some standard AD items in there. Last Whisper is pretty good. Just about built like a blue Ezreal in that aspect. Anything blue that you'd get as an ADC is what you'd get on Urgot. And that's pretty much my general rule of thumb and how I've seen him played ever since, I think, Season 2? Like, when he was introduced, that's how people deduced how good he was, when they were like, oh, I'll just build, AD with a lot of mana, and nobody dies. He never dies, pretty much. That's why he's been coined the name Urgot. So, yeah. Again, ADC bottom lane. Moving on, we got Varus, who, again, same thing as Urgot. However, items you'll get on Varus are completely different than Urgot. You'll be getting Bloodthirster, Last Whisper, Phantom Dancer, Hurricane, and yeah, things die quick at that point for you. If things still aren't dying at that point, you're doing something wrong. He's a very, very versatile, and he hurts like a mofo just on his own. So, yeah. Anything to increase his attack damage, as well as increase his attack speed, is always good. Treat him like you would Jinx in that aspect, or Vayne. Vayne's actually a better comparison because of the true damage. But, yeah. So, Phantom Dancer, Bloodthirster, Infinity Edge, Black Cleaver is good, and a Hurricane, and that's your 5 items right there. That's what you're going to quintessentially get just about every game. You may change out the Black Cleaver for Manamune for the increased mana, because you will be spamming a lot and need that mana regen. That's the only item I would say you can switch in and out. Other than that, ADC, bottom lane. And last but not least, we got Vel'Koz, who I just love ever since they introduced him. He's not my main when I'm in mid lane. It's either Karthus or Ziggs, but Vel'Koz is a very close, runner-up for second place between, the struggle between Karthus and Ziggs. So, Vel'Koz, you'll be getting... I like Eluden's Echo on him, even though he really is AoE focused. Eluden's Echo on him is very good, especially with his ultimate. Rabadon's Death Cap, Zanya's Hourglass, Nathine's Unholy Grail, and a Landry's Torment are my key items on him. And then you can figure out from there, maybe a Crystal Scepter, maybe get an Abyssal or a Void Staff, because those are going to be pretty good on him too. Other than that, you're pretty much golden with the items I said. Your Zanya's, Luden's Echo, Rabadon's, and getting your Landry's Torment. Those 4 items right there are your key, in my opinion. And also your you could also change out Landry's Torment later in the game for something else, but Landry's Torment definitely early to mid game will help. And Yerthine's Unholy Grail will always, always, always help. And, yeah, that's the Free Week Champion rotation. If you guys have any questions or comments, leave them down below. Don't forget to like and, share the video. It does help. And my name has been Shadowswalm. I will talk to you all next time.